I'm Noah, and I would like to let you know about some of the exciting things happening at Hope for Our Times. Livestream registration for the San Marcos Prophecy Conference is available at hopeforourtimes.com. We have 7 world-class speakers scheduled to share the hope that comes through the prophetic word of God on July 21st and 22nd. The registration includes access to the conference message for 30 days. You'll be able to watch the conference at your convenience for 30 days following the conference. Visit hopeforourtimes.com and click on the Events tab to register today. Do you receive our weekly newsletter? This free resource is a great way to stay up to date on what's happening at Hope for Our Times. Each week you'll receive a special short article from one of our ministry partners, as well as a newsletter-only devotion video from Tom. If you would like to sign up and receive the newsletter, visit hopeforourtimes.com and click on the Stay Connected tab. Hope for Our Times will be hosting a conference in Rockwell, Texas on August 25th and 26th. In-person registration is open right now and spots are filling up quickly, so you'll want to reserve your spot today. We have 7 special speakers ready to share important messages concerning the times we are living in. We have Alex Newman, John Holler, Dr. Andy Woods, Olivier Melnick, Bill Koenig, Bill Federer, and Tom Hughes. Visit hopeforourtimes.com and click on the Events tab to reserve your spot today. Have you downloaded the Hope for Our Times app? This free app is a great tool that is updated daily with current news articles and special app-only videos. There's also a Bible reading plan that is built into this free app. Visit the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the app. Remember to tell someone about the hope that comes through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Hey everybody, check it out. We are here. It is You Can't Make This Up. Thursdays, we are live on the app. We're live. Well, we're pretty much live everywhere. We're live on YouTube. I see people on YouTube. I'm still trying to log on to onto the app right now. I'll get there in just a second. But I got a lot of things to share with you. And what we are going to do is we're going to include all the different stories I'm sharing with y'all. I'm going to include them. You'll see them all in the links. You'll see the links in the description, so you can go and verify what I am talking to you about right there on the spot. So let's get going. I want to welcome you all. If I have time, I'll take any of your questions. So keep them coming. Give me just a second here. I got to find my stories because I just had like 100 of them, and I just lost them all. I'm gonna get them. Give me just a second, please. Up here they come. Stories are coming. Okay. Oh, I don't have the stories yet. I'll get the stories here. Hold on. Oh, that's not going to work. That ain't going to work either. Okay, I am really sorry, folks. Let me work on this. I know you're thinking, man, this guy's a moron. You know what? I've had a lot worse things said about me. There, I got it. Okay, we're good. Ready? Okay, here's first story. Check this out. This is Nolte out of Breitbart says, tribal leader would like Ben and Jerry to return stolen land. I mean, we're hearing about all these woke politics and Ben and Jerry and talking about all of the leftist things that they talk about, the radicals. So tribal leader would like the colonialists known as Ben and Jerry to return their stolen land. This is a classic. The chief of a tribe descended from the Indian nation that originally controlled the land in Vermont. The Ben and Jerry's headquarters is located on would be interested in taking it back. I gotta love this. You guys gotta love this. The glorious turn of events happened just 1 week after the colonialists known as Ben and Jerry demanded that everyone else return stolen land from the American Indians, starting with Mount Rushmore. Folks, that is classic. So here it is. This tribal leader calls out Ben and Jerry and says, you're on our land, folks. You can't make this up. You got to love this, especially since Ben and Jerry is such a corrupt, leftist, radical, woke organization that loves to make sure that you can take kids and do whatever you want with them. I mean, it's just awful. These things are sick. And I think it's great that this just turned on Ben and Jerry's head. All right, let's get on with some more. You can't make this up for the week. Maybe he's born with it. This is out of the Daily Mail. Furry, you know what the furries are? They think they're animals. Furry at Maybelline for using bearded men to promote new makeup line. The cosmetics company has come under fire after using 2 men with beards to promote its new products and post to its Instagram page. It used two male Maybelline partners, many of you have heard about this, to promote a lipstick and applicator. This latest backlash comes after the company was threatened with a boycott earlier this year for sponsoring transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. So you look, you go, okay, we know the Budweiser thing, we know the Target stuff, we know the rainbow truck coming out of Ford, and Maybelline, this came out, I remember reading about it a few weeks ago, I think it was when we were in Mexico, and Maybelline said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Let's just see if we can out-stupid the rest of these people. So what do? They get two men to put on lipstick and say, come buy our lipstick, ladies. It'll be really wonderful. Come buy our lipstick. And guess what? It's not going well for Maybelline. I mean, these people are sick. And what's happening to women in America is absolutely appalling. It's also pretty telling that the Marxist side of women, the left, they seem to think this kind of stuff is okay. Listen, this is what's happened. America turned from Christ, rejected Christ, said, we don't want Christ. Listen, it was Christianity that promoted women. It's the Bible that promoted the women in this world. And then you look, as America was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, we removed Christ from everything. And what has happened to women ever since then? It's just been degraded to the point where you have men modeling lipstick as if that is a good idea. But folks, we got more bizarre things for you. I'm going to show you a couple of videos. This first one is going to be, I can't figure out if this is a man or if this is a woman. But we're going to show it to you. You see how you try to figure out what's going on here. Again, you look at these things, you cannot make this stuff up. So let's just roll with this first video of this, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Can we roll the video?
The first trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion. I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor, place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes, with as many trans women as it takes, and let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads, wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
All right. So this just, I mean, can it get any weirder than it is right now? I mean, you look at this, you go, you've got to be kidding me. So this person, I still can't figure out if it's a guy or a girl or a guy or what it is that we all just saw. But can it get any weirder? So they want to know how this is going to affect they want to see how the transphobes and the homophobes are going to react, meaning I guess they're pointed at pretty much anybody who doesn't agree with them. I'll tell you, you guys are nuts. I don't know what else to say. You guys, I mean, you've got to have demons or you're just completely nuts. There's only one of two options. You got mental illness or you got demons. I mean, take your pick. You guys are absolutely lost your minds. And you think this is a good idea. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. All right, I got to go to the next one. Are you ready for this? Tampon company says they want to be gender inclusive brand, refers to women as menstruators. Listen, I'm not making any of these things up. I know what you're probably thinking. This is a Babylon Bee thing. These things aren't really real. No, this is the world that you and I actually live in. And I think to myself, how did we end up here? You wake up in the morning, you think, this is America in 2023. How much more bizarre can we get? How much more bizarre can we get? Let me show you a picture. This really sums up a lot of things. Check it out. This is a picture of Jesus and some trans person, I guess. Can you show everybody this picture? Check that out. There you go. Liberal Logic 101. This man, this is a picture of somebody's artist's rendition of Jesus, must be completely removed from our schools, but this man is perfectly fine. Doesn't that sum up how bizarre everything has become? Right is wrong and wrong is right, just as Isaiah said things were going to happen. I mean, you look at this, you're thinking, I tell you, we live in one messed up, weird world. Check out this next story. Seattle Public Schools offer free sex change services to students as young as 13 without telling parents. So it's gone from we're just not going to tell the parents if their kids if they're going to dress in different clothes in the course of a day. Now they're saying, oh, we're going to one up that up here in Seattle. This is what we're going to do. We're actually going to offer the free sex change service to students as young as 13. It's like these mayors, these city councils, the school councils, whatever they're called, school boards, these teachers' unions, governors across the board. It's like they just want to see, oh, you think that's nuts? I'll show you something else that's even more nuts. You want to see something else that's even more nuts? You ready for this one? Let's roll Kamala Harris and Ben Shapiro. Gotta love this.
Among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to
like
school
everyone
on
else.
a school bus, right?
Oh. Raise your hand if you breathe air. Breathe air. Raise your hand if you have ever ridden a school. And that's why I'm so excited.
I like that laugh.
You wonder why the Democrats are taking a dead old man and stacking him on top of a horse and running him in 2024? That right there would be the reason.
I mean, Kamala Harris, I mean, she's like the gift. Come on, everybody. She's the gift that keeps on giving. There's certain people in this world that are the gift that keeps on giving. Biden, the president of the United States, he's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, from sniffing horses to sniffing people, sniffing children. It's just, I mean, we have a pedophile in the place of the presidency of the United States of America. I mean, how else? I mean, you look at Hunter Biden. You know, what's he up to? How did the cocaine end up in the White House? Gee, I mean, we talked about that last week. Gee, what a coincidence that is that just happens to be there at the time of Hunter Biden. So you start looking at all of these different factors. Kamala Harris, President of the United States. What do you guys think of that? How would you like that if she actually became president? Well, some people think it's a good idea. The DNC, Democratic National Committee, guess what? They may want to install Kamala Harris as president, unchallenged. That's right. Rumors are taking over social media chatter when it comes to the DNC and a potential plan to install Kamala Harris as president, unchallenged. The strategy revolves around Joe Biden running for re-election in 2024 and Democrats supporting Joe Biden. But if something were to happen to Joe Biden, considering his age and health, then Kamala Harris would be next in line and essentially installed as president. Joe Biden seems like he'll be fine until 2024, but at 80 years old, anything can happen. A poll taken in June suggested that 86% of Democrat voters at that time were comfortable with Kamala Harris taking over if Joe Biden was unable to fulfill his presidential duties. No way. I don't know who was in this particular poll, but 86% of Democratic voters listen. It can't possibly be that high that many people. So I would actually even in the Democrat Party would think Kamala Harris is that's just a great option. Let's have her be the president of the United States. I mean, how much worse can anything get? Kamala Harris, the yellow school bus lady. Doesn't everybody just love a yellow school bus? And now you can get yellow school buses. They're going to have them with charging stations underneath your seats. That's so exciting. I mean, the lady's she's really dumb. You know, she's just really dumb. All right. I don't know what else to say. This is what I think is probably going to happen with the Democrats. I don't know if 2024 election's actually ever going to happen, but this is what I think is a real possibility, that Kamala gets offered a different position. Gavin Newsom, the destroyer of the state of California, he gets installed as vice president. Joe disappears because Joe's going to disappear. Everybody knows Joe's going to disappear. It's like, what is it, Weekend at Bernie's? Just prop the guy up and send him out there. That's Joe Biden. So there you go. So he gets sent away. Kamala Harris has already been moved on. I don't know. Again, I can't imagine who was polled in this poll, came out with 86% of the people said it was good. Maybe it was 8-year-olds and Democrat families or something like that thought Kamala Harris would be great. But there's already enough problems that are out there, too much resistance. There's too many people that are waking up to the insanity that I think I could see going with Gavin Newsom. And I'd be very worried about that, because he's absolutely destroyed what used to be a really good state of California. It's awful. He's destroyed it, and he will destroy the country, the United States of America. All right, here's another one. This is from The Guardian. The Lord's Prayer opening may be problematic, says Archbishop. What is his problem? The Archbishop of New York has suggested that opening the words of the Lord's Prayer recited by Christians all over the world for 2,000 years may be problematic because of their patriarchal association. In his opening address to a meeting of the Church of England's ruling body, the General Synod, or Synod, however you want to pronounce it, Stephen Cottrell, dwelt on the words, Our Father, the start of the prayer based on Matthew chapter 6 and Luke chapter 11 in the New Testament. All right, now maybe this guy doesn't know this, and those were the words that Jesus gave us. Abba, our Father, who art in heaven. I'm looking at this going, these people have completely lost their minds. It's a problem. Jesus didn't know what he's talking about. That's essentially what these people are saying. Andy Stanley already says that kind of stuff. And you see this guy out of the Catholic Church saying this insane stuff. It's a problem to say, Our Father who art in heaven. Listen, this is what Jesus said. This is how Jesus said to pray. It's an attack on the words of Jesus. It's an attack on Jesus himself. But no surprise, because this also comes out of the Catholic Church. WYD, Catholic News Agency. Again, you can check out all these articles yourself. They're in the description. WYD is an invitation to young people to experience God, explains future Portuguese Cardinal. Again, Catholic. World Youth Day, WYD, is an invitation to all young people in the world to experience God. The Auxiliary Bishop of Lisbon and new president of the World Youth Day, 2023 Foundation of Lisbon, who Pope Francis, surprise, surprise, recently named a cardinal, told the Catholic News Agency, or ACI Digital, that his comments were made in the context of a longer interview in which he was quoted as saying, "We don't want to convert the young people to Christ or to the Catholic Church or anything like that at all." In the interview, the bishop said that in his opinion, the intention of World Youth Day is to have young people journey together, respecting their diversity. Listen, I'm not interested in converting them over to Catholicism, but having people be introduced to the Lord Jesus Christ, that they would come to know Christ, that they would be forgiven of their sins. Listen, this is what we're about. And of course, this guy's a charlatan. He's a fake. He's a phony. And you look at the whole Vatican and all of the insanity coming out of there with the Pope and pushing the green laws and the Green New Deal. I have a picture of the Pope just a few weeks back wearing a rainbow cape on himself. I'm like, the whole thing. And then what we saw happen with the Catholic, I can't remember if he's a bishop or who he was, out of Texas, that was challenging what was happening with the Los Angeles Dodgers and this anti-Catholic group the Los Angeles Dodgers invited to honor on that particular day during Pride Month. Remember, Pride goes before destruction. What was the destruction of Satan himself? It was pride. What does he want men to do? Go down that direction of pride and remove God from everything. So this Catholic, I think he was a bishop, he challenges, he pushes against the doctors, the Dodgers, leads a protest against them. The Pope chastises this bishop, and now he's under investigation. Complete insanity. These people are so wicked, you can't make this stuff up. All right, one you have all heard about, no doubt, one of the most bizarre things, but this is the world that we live in. Transgender model crowned as Miss Netherlands will compete for title of Miss Universe. Well, there you have it. So we have chest feeding going on, so men can chest feed babies with chemicals that will kill the babies. CDC says, hey, this is a wonderful idea. So these are the same people that have told us the last few years of what we were being told was true. These are the same people that are shoving these things down our throats. CDC, World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, pretty much the entire mainstream media. And you look at this and you think, okay, now we have this, we have the Maybelline story, we have Budweiser, and this transgender model crowned as Miss Netherlands. I'm just thinking that why aren't more women rising up like Riley Gaines, the swimmer who was ousted by the people who voted against her and gave the medal to that dude that thinks he's a chick that swam. The perversions and the insanity of it all. We need more people, and you know what else women need? They need men who will stand up with them. And there's very few men that have any guts. And that's why we are seeing some women stand up. But we need to stand up for what is right. And for all you guys out there, stand with your wife, stand with your church. If your pastor doesn't stand up for what's right, challenge your pastor. If you're going to a church where they're just going along with the motions, going along like a dead fish floating downstream, listen, we're supposed to be like live fish swimming upstream, following after Christ with all of our heart, running the race as if we're going to win the prize. And churches need to be doing that. One of the biggest problems with what's going on in America is wimpy pastors. There's too many of them and too many Christians that want to be wimps. So they go with the way of the Joel Osteens and the rest of these churches that refuse to teach the truth. Listen, did you know that in Nazi Germany, I believe it was only 10%. Only 10% of the people actually were going along with the plans of Hitler. Only 10%. But they were able to flip Germany. What's happening in America right now? Probably even less than 10%, but they're still flipping it. And this, what happened in Nazi Germany, is exactly what's happening right here today in the Western world. This is what's happening. In Nazi Germany, you get 10% of the people go along with Hitler. The majority of the people just didn't want to cause a problem, didn't want to push back, didn't want to say that's wrong. They didn't want to say the truth. Hey, the emperor's got no clothes. Listen, we need to call out. This stuff is absolutely foolish. It is wicked. And men who won't stand up for their own children in a public school, that's bad. That's really, really bad. That is so wimpy. Do you realize if you fall into that category, you just go along with it, you're called into an account? In Romans chapter 1, as the chapter concludes, you know what it says? God lets us know he's going to judge the people who do these things and those who go along with it, those who approve of them. There are so many people that just keep their mouths shut. They just go right along with it. According to God, that's wicked. You want to know what else? Also in the book of Revelation, one of the reasons why God brings judgment, not just because of the immorality and the perversions and the lies and the thievery and the murdering, also, and they were cowards. You can read it for yourself in the book of Revelation. They were cowards. I used to wonder what that meant. Because you didn't want to get in a fight, you were a coward. This doesn't make any sense. It makes sense now. They are spiritual cowards. They're cowards in their homes. They're cowards in their churches. They won't stand up to the truth of what, they won't stand up against the lies with the truth. They are cowards. Do you realize that God says the judgment is coming upon them. That's pretty powerful. Why do you think that is? I got to wonder when you look at the end of Romans chapter 1, those who approve of them are those who just keep their mouth shut and go along with it, and those who are cowards are going to be judged because maybe they never really believed in Christ in the first place. Got to look at that and wonder, what does Christ really mean to you? What has he saved you from? You look at these things and you got to think, this is the Babylon Bee, but you look, you go, it's not the Babylon Bee. This is really happening. It's like the Babylon Bee, the writers over there, man, they're fantastic. They write things in parody, they're humor, but it's almost like they're prophetic because you look, you go, hey, that came true. I remember reading about that 2 years ago in Babylon Bee. It was a joke. Uh-oh, it's come true. Maybe they're prophets over there at the Babylon Bee. Stuff's just bizarre. Here's another story for you. Robots deny they would rebel against humans in UN news conference. Over this past weekend, I think it was, the UN organized an AI summit to discuss the future of artificial intelligence, how robotics could help governments and organizations meet sustainable development goals, the SDGs, Agenda 2030, all that stuff. The Geneva summit concluded what was described as the world's first robot-human press conference, where journalists were invited to ask robots questions about their expanding abilities. We have to engage and assure a responsible future with AI, explained ITU Secretary General Doreen Bogdan Martin, who took pictures with Sophia the robot. Built by Hanson Robotics, Sophia has already spoken at hundreds of conferences around the world, including the UN. It's just bizarre. It says, as you look at this, robots like me, this is a robot speaking, can be used to help improve our lives and make the world a better place. I believe it's only a matter of time before we see those thousands of robots just like me out there making a difference. When asked about whether robots should submit to stricter regulations, the robot's response is varied. Many prominent voices in the world of AI are suggesting some forms of AI should be regulated, and I agree, says one person. Purple-haired rock star gave a different answer. I don't believe in limitations, only opportunities. Let's explore the possibilities of the universe and make this world our playground. As you read through this and you find out, coming from the robot saying, well, we basically could take over the world, but we won't. We won't destroy you guys. We're gonna treat you really good. So just roll with us. Here's another, you can't make this stuff up. A couple of these, I want to get to your questions here in a second. On LGBTQ issues, my fellow Muslims, this is from Ilan Omar, Muslim, right? My fellow Muslims should balance faith with solidarity. She is saying, now she's Muslim, saying the Muslim world should just accept the LGBTQ ideology. I think in her mind, she knows that's a lie. She knows it's not true. She's trying to win over the LGBTQ base because she knows the Islamic community will cut off their heads. She knows that. Louis Riddell, Instagram influencer, posts this. It's 2023 where a 16-year-old will be kicked off a swim team because she speaks out against a man in the girls' locker room. Unbelievable. It's happening. And there's an interview with the 16-year-old girl. I look at these things. I got to get to your questions. All right, you guys ready? Send me some questions because I want to take them. You ready? Okay, go. You can't make this stuff up. Let's see. Well, while you're sending your questions, let me comment on this. The live stream for San Marcos is available. I hope that you guys can join us. Billy Crone will be joining us. Brandon Holthouse, Don Perkins. Let's see, Scott Townsend for the first time ever. John Haller for the first time ever. Greg Denham, myself, and I get to bring a brand new message. I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to it. And the live stream is going to be terrific. If you weren't able to purchase a ticket to join us in person or register, you can do it at Just go on the live stream and join us. It's going to be absolutely terrific. Okay, Beverly Neal, what can I do with the truth with my family? They get mad at me. That is true. Families will get mad at you. So I was the first person to come to Christ in my family, and with that, they thought I think I've mentioned this before, they thought I was in a cult, they thought I had lost my mind, they thought I was crazy. They were happy I wasn't doing drugs anymore, but I wasn't involved in certain lifestyle things that I was involved in before, but they thought basically I was in a cult. Listen, it's just one of the realities of the things that we have to deal with as a Christian. There's always somebody who comes to faith first in a family. And I would say this, I probably don't want to hear this. In a sense, for me, I guess it was just suck it up, buttercup. Tom, you just got to deal with it. Love your family, care for them. And I learned to not shove everything down my family's throat. I come from a kind of a large family. I have 7 brothers and sisters, and I remember pretty much telling them all they were going to go to hell. That didn't go over very well with any of them. I told them they were all evil. I remember pointing the finger, you're going to hell. None of those approaches with my Christian testimony worked, but since then, in the last 35 years, many of them have come to know Christ, and extended family members too, and that's pretty cool. But I have kind of tempered with how I share my faith, but just understand, this is the way it's going to be. Jesus was rejected by his own brothers didn't even want him, and then things came around, so it's all right. All right, Jeff Hensley says, this is from YouTube. Let me see. Oh, I lost the question. I'm going to come up with it, Jeff. I was able to read enough of it to figure it out. There it is. Exactly when does the Euphrates prophecy happen? The fallen angels let loose. Euphrates river drying up, it actually doesn't happen until Revelation chapter 16, when you have the bowl judgment. It's towards the end of the tribulation period. And then the kings of the east, they march over the dried up Euphrates with their armies to the place called Armageddon. So it's at the very end of the tribulation period. So with that, if you look at that in the light of a lot of things that are out there right now, they're all over YouTube. I see them on Instagram. I've probably seen at least 50, 75 different people saying, look, the Euphrates River is drying up. This is proof the Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. Listen, it's the angel that pours out this bowl on the Euphrates River that causes drying up at the end of the tribulation period. So what is happening now is there's droughts that are happening and things like that. So we have events that are taking place, but they're not yet the fulfillment of the judgments in the book of Revelation. So that is a judgment that's coming. It's going to be horrific. In fact, when you read through all of the bowl judgments, in fact, let me go through a few of them, because this may help explain some things or clarify some things. This is just, remember, you have the seals, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the 5th seal when the martyrs are being killed, the 6th seal when stars fall from the sky, mountains crumble, and then you go into the 7th seal, which begins the 7 trumpet judgments, where a third of the sea is struck. You have what looks like a possible nuclear attack that takes place, a nuclear event, I should say. You have a giant wormwood star. You have the waters of the drinking waters of the world turn bitter. You have a third of the sea is destroyed. The ships are destroyed. That's just the trumpet judgments. Then you go to the bowl judgments. Real briefly, you have the first bowl, you have the sores that are just sick. The first angel went out and poured out his bowl upon the earth, and a foul and loathsome sore came upon the men who had the mark of the beast and those who worship the image. That's gross. So those who receive the mark of the beast, something goes wrong with their body when you get to the first bowl judgment. Isn't that rather interesting? I saw something on here about Neuralink, and we have all these different implants that the Yuval Noah Harari's and the Elon Musk's and all these other people are talking about they want to do to our bodies. It makes me think something happens with the mark of the beast that goes physically wrong with the body. So this angel pours out his judgment, and all those who have the mark of the beast, It's at that time something goes wrong, and they break out with these gross sores all over their body. Second bowl, the sea turns to blood. Third bowl, the waters turn to blood. Fourth bowl, men are scorched. If people think it's global warming now, oh baby, they're in for a surprise. If you don't repent, the fourth bowl comes, that is going to be global warming. Men's bodies are scorched. The fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and the power was given to him to scorch men with fire, and men were scorched with great heat, and they blasphemed the name of God who had power over these plagues, but they did not repent and give him glory. They knew it was from God. It wasn't from those who are driving SUVs and having barbecues like the climate liars want to tell us. God's going to prove it. The judgment's from him. It's going to be scorching heat. And those who hate God, they're going to know it's God who's doing it too, and they're going to refuse to repent of their sins. And then you have the fifth bowl where you have darkness and pain, and then you get to the sixth bowl where the Euphrates River is dried up. We aren't there yet. So we haven't gone through the seals, the trumpets, or the bowl judgments. So all these people out there that are saying, hey, the Euphrates River is drying up, this is proof Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. It's not. What happens in the book of Revelation is horrific. What's happening now, you have drought, you have dams that are being, waterways that are being changed intentionally and things like that. So that is happening, no doubt, but not what the Bible describes, book of Revelation. All right, here's another question. Are we going to see a significantly prophetic war happening between Israel and the surrounding nations this year? I can't predict, but it very well could be this year. I mean, so many of you already know that I was recently in Israel, right on the border of Gaza, and I was there with my friend David Tao, and my wife was there, and we went to get a falafel. We're at Sderot. Some of you know where Sderot is. And right on the border of Gaza, we were ground zero when the rockets started flying from Islamic Jihad. I looked straight up, and looking straight up, we saw Iron Dome intercept rockets. I got video of them. I got pictures of them. I mean, we literally were at ground zero. People are running to bomb shelters and the whole bit. Never got my falafel that day. But so those things happen. So will there be a major war? I don't know. It varies. The area could go with something like that. But and by the way, if you're going with me to Israel, we don't go to those areas where the wars and the battles happen. I'm just saying, in fact, I was there. A tour group was coming a couple of days later. Some of you are with me. This one that was just in May. And didn't y'all have a great time? You saw the things on news. People from back in the States that were calling. We had people from Australia and Canada join us, and South Africa. And they were all joining us. And people all over the world were worried. But when you got to Israel, you realized, that was just, we're not. And everybody who went on the trip had a great time, because I don't take tour groups to those areas. I go to them on my own. That's because I'm kind of crazy. But you don't have to worry about that stuff. We're going in October. I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome. So for all of you who are going, you're going to get an email from me in just a couple of days. And it's just going to be we're going to have a great time. All right. Here's the question from Lori Saunders. Explain the parable of the 10 virgins, please. I know it's not the rapture, as they are called bridesmaids, not the bride. Okay, Lori, so there's a lot of confusion with it. Two different schools of thought. So I'm going to give you what I believe is correct. And I think all right, let me just go through it. So the parable of the 10 virgins is part of the Olivet Discourse. And those are the prophecies that Jesus gave regarding the tribulation period, much of it the second half of the tribulation period. You have the abomination of desolation. You have the Jews fleeing from Jerusalem for safety. That's at the second half of the tribulation. But then Jesus gives them illustrations. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days of the coming of Son of Man. That's one illustration. As it was in the days of Lot, another illustration. And then he gives a parable of the bridesmaids. Well, if the context, you're right, Lori, the context is the second half of the tribulation, or you could even say, let's just say the entire 7 years of tribulation. Just put it in there. It's in the tribulation. So it's not a reference to the rapture because of the context. And that really troubles a lot of people, but that's all right. That's all right. I'm not saying to get anybody mad. I think that there's a lot of great wonderful guys out there and gals and that have taught that this is the rapture, a rapture teaching. And I used to teach that. I thought that for a number of years, but because I thought it doesn't mean that it was right. And so when you put it into the right context, you realize, oh, that's about the tribulation period. So I wouldn't count somebody. I have some people say you're a heretic if you don't believe this or that. No, heresy has to do with who Jesus is and denying the deity of Jesus Christ and that sort of thing. But the placing of the parable of the virgins doesn't make a person a heretic or not a heretic at all. But it is regarding the tribulation period. So the understanding of it, Jesus is basically letting everybody know you need to be ready because we don't know when this is all going to happen. And that's really what he is emphasizing. It is that there's a couple of things we don't know. When the rapture is going to take place, and we don't know when the confirmation of the 7-year covenant is going to begin. I know there's a lot of people out there that are predicting it, but we don't know that. And so we don't know when the tribulation is going to begin. There's just certain things that we don't know, but we must always be ready. N. Wilson says, when do you think the authentic Bible will be replaced or banned? I do not know when, but I do believe it's going to happen. In fact, I know it's going to happen because the Bible is the biggest problem for the globalists and those who want to take over things. The fake churches, and the fake church doesn't believe in the Bible, but it will happen. I just don't know when. Silicon Valley Steve, hey, Silicon Valley Steve, good to see you here. And Silicon Valley Steve and we met at a conference. I can't remember which conference it was, but I remember meeting. Can you share what harm has been done by trying to predict the date of the rapture? Yes, it causes a lot of confusion. Every year, for years, I get emails from people really angry at me because I haven't agreed with a particular date for the rapture, and then we come and we go and gets past that. And the problem is it causes doubt, it causes confusion. You get past that date. Let's say somebody predicted, what's today's date? July, whatever it is. I don't know. It's July something, right? Somebody predicts that today, or let's say tomorrow is July 14th. July 14th is going to be the rapture. And people get all excited about it, and then all of a sudden you come around to July 15th, doesn't happen. What happens? Most of those people say you guys are all liars. You're all liars. And I'll give you a quick illustration. I had several years ago, a few years back, during the elections that were coming at the time of the Trump-Biden election. And there were a lot of people on the internet that were saying, hey, Trump's going to win all 50 states, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And they based it on prophecy. They said, God has shown me, this is what prophecy says, and so forth. And I had this guy, he was conservative, still is. He was interested in Bible prophecy. He was interested in things that were shared. And he was a real conservative, so he's really hopeful that Trump was going to win. So Trump doesn't win. I saw him, and he says, I want to know why people like you, pointing his finger at me, he was really mad, why people like you predicted that Trump was going to win and win all 50 states, and he didn't. And I said, I never said that. In fact, I was saying the opposite for various reasons. And I said, I never said any of those things. I don't go into those areas. You know, whatever it is that God wants to do. And then we talked about Jesus being on the throne and not trusting in a politician and so forth. But the problem is this. People predict, they give dates, they give all kinds of predictions, and then anything that's good and right that's out there, you get lumped into that same circle, just as I was lumped into that same circle, and as I am now. You know, when people make predictions, 2 years ago, the rapture is going to take place on Rosh Hashanah. Well, here it is, we're still here. This year, Rosh Hashanah, Feast of Trumpets, rapture is going to take place. You hear these things over and over and over again. The blood red moons, 2008, I believed it. You know, 2015, I didn't because I got fooled in 2008. But you hear these things, and I push back on it. Most of my friends push back on them. But the problem is when they don't come around and fulfilled, we are all lumped into the same category, me and you alike. You Bible prophecy people are all a bunch of fools. You're a bunch of liars. You guys don't know how to tell the truth, and you believe you just give all these fake predictions. Listen, this is where prophecy lands, all right? I've discovered there's 3 categories. This is what they are. You gotta be careful, but be wise. One category is predictions. It's predictions. A second category is sci-fi, science fiction. Third category is where I prefer to be, is Bible prophecy. There is Bible prophecy, and then there are predictions, taking out a passage, making it mean something it doesn't really say, and give predictions. And then there is science fiction, taking other passages and just creating something completely different altogether. Stick to the Bible. Don't interpret the events of, don't interpret the Bible by the news. Another dangerous thing. Some people take the news and say, because the news says this, the Bible must mean that. Don't do that. Big mistake. What you do is you take the Bible and you see what the news says, and you go, well, the Bible says this. That doesn't mean that when I read that in the newspaper, but I can understand with certain things that are happening with Russia, with Iran, with Israel. I can understand as we look at technology with the mark of the beast. I can understand this and I can understand that. It helps me to make sense because the Bible told me the direction things were going to go, so I would be strengthened, so I would not lose heart, so my faith would be built, so I would be stronger. So we interpret the events of the world according to the Bible. We run everything through the sieve of the Bible. The problem is some people take the Bible and run it through the sieve of the world, the sieve of the news, and say, well, the Bible must mean this because the news says that. That's backwards. Get yourself in a dangerous place. Listen, I'm supposed to be gone or finished 15 minutes ago, but I'm looking forward to this Sunday night. Join me if you can. Going to be live, going to be great. Daniel chapter 5 I'm in this Sunday night. Listen, God's going to crash the party. It's going to be exciting. We got a lot of things to connect. Also join us, all 7 of us, for the live stream coming up in Southern California, just coming up next week. It's going to be terrific. As I mentioned, we have all some of the best speakers that are out there going to be there. And I know what messages they're bringing. And our intent is to educate, to strengthen our faith, to build up and press forward together. So I hope that you can join us for the live stream. God bless you guys, and I will see you